Welcome to the Defeat the Drama podcast, where you'll learn tips, tricks, and strategies to help you gain clarity, find purpose, live boldly, and defeat the drama in leadership and life. Host Kirsten E. Ross is known to many as the drama-free queen. She is the undisputed expert of transformation. She'll move you from resigned, resentful, and overwhelmed to focused, engaged, and empowered.
Welcome to the Defeat the Drama podcast. I'm Kirsten Rush, your host, and this is episode number 68. Drama zaps energy and steals focus, so let's defeat some drama. Now, I'm on a mission to defeat drama, one organization, one person at a time, so thanks so much for joining me. And you know what creates drama? Pay, compensation, salaries, hourly rates. That is a topic that gets everyone fired up. So today I'm going to be sharing some strategies to help you defeat your compensation drama. You know, many companies have a formal policy that require employees to keep the specifics about their pay private. I certainly understand what motivates these policies. Conversation about pay almost always causes drama, and I know you know that. However, rarely do these policies serve their purpose, and often I find they're enforced more aggressively when there really is no legitimate rhyme or reason for how much employees are paid. In other words, the gag order is created to avoid the drama induced by an unfair pay plan. The reality is, pay is an emotional thing. It's not just about the dollars. And probably the more you try to keep it a secret, the more they'll talk about it. It's just kind of the nature of things. If employees don't understand how their pay is calculated, they won't feel that their own pay is fair. I don't know about you, but I've rarely heard anyone say, they pay me too much. Either people are quietly neutral about their pay or they're disgruntled about it. Few are singing from the rooftops about their hourly rate or salary. Another fun fact about compensation, once you provide someone some kind of compensation, it quickly becomes an entitlement. Now they just expect it. Take it away or provide less, and you've got drama. So have you experienced any of this, whether you're a business owner or a leader? I'm going to hazard a guess that you have. So I've spent years working in compensation and have generated calculations that impacted the wages of thousands. I know the emotion that pay practices can ignite, and I've learned some strategies to avoid the drama that is always a potential. So, what can you do to minimize compensation drama? Here are a few strategies. The first, have a rhyme or a reason for how you pay people. Do have pay scales. Pay drama happens when employees feel that their pay is not fair. And fair is a subjective term based on comparisons to others. Fair can be based on internal comparisons, called internal equity, or external comparisons, external equity. Are you paying people fairly compared to similar jobs outside of your company? Salary.com is a good place to start if you don't have access to customized salary data. The jury's out on the accuracy of this website, but over the years, I found it's a really helpful tool. The reality is, even though compensation is based on numbers, it will never be an exact science. So, I feel like their data is pretty good. Don't hold me to that, but if it's the best that you can do and you don't want to invest in some customized data, then go ahead and use it as a starting point. So use that data and then add or delete value based on your specific job, the skills required, the responsibilities, and then create those pay scales. So you're probably not going to find pay information specifically that's, exactly like the kinds of jobs you have inside of your organization, or the companies they've used aren't exactly like your company. So you're going to have to do some plus and minuses. Like I said, it's, while it is numbers, compensation's not an exact science. You have to add or delete value, kind of some numbers to those pay ranges based on, maybe you have extra skills or responsibilities within your organization. You just kind of have to make some judgment calls, but make those pay scales. And if you have some additional questions or need help, contact me. Go to defeatthedrama.com and select the contact tab. As I said, I've logged many years as a compensation professional. And the link to that page will be on the show notes for this episode. I'll also put a link to salary.com as well. So once you have a good pay structure, assure that you're paying people well individually. Within the organization, are you providing similar pay for similar jobs, experience, education, quality of work? Have you brought new employees in higher than long-term employees? Do you have family members or friends getting preferential pay treatment? Ask yourself the tough questions and do what you can to rectify the situation. Now, it's hard to make quick adjustments if you've been overpaying some people. I get it. You don't really want to take pay away, but you can do something called red circling. So if you have someone, once you create your pay scales, who's making significantly more than that pay range, you can red circle their pay. That means just keeping them at the same rate or close to it, or making smaller adjustments until their pay lands within the appropriate pay scale. As an alternative, if you have people making way above the pay scale once you create them, you can look at some job enrichment and kind of say, hey, you know what, I'm able to pay you this amount, but you're going to have to take on these additional responsibilities to kind of justify what they're being paid. Make it fair, internal equity. All right, the second strategy, communication. Share how you came up with your pay plan. I've shared before that in the absence of fact, people have a tendency to fill in the spaces with negative assumptions. So trying to keep your pay plan secret creates stress and anxiety and a whole lot of drummed up drama. People are just going to fill in the blanks with negative assumptions and just assume. It's just going to create this culture of paranoia. They're just going to assume, oh my gosh, I think I'm underpaid and they're all overpaid. So have a good rhyme or reason for why you pay what you do and share that information freely. Now, I'm not suggesting you share individual pay information, of course. I am suggesting that you share generically how pay is calculated. How did you come up with the pay scales? How do you compare to your competitors? And where does an individual employee fall within their pay scale? Of course, that part of the conversation is going to happen with just that person. Let them know where they fall and what the plans are for their increases over time. Number 3, keep pay consistent wherever possible. If you have a bonus plan or something that can vary year to year, communicate how it is calculated and stick to it. In the tougher years, through good communication, your employees will know and understand why the bonuses are lower or non-existent. In better years, pay the extra with a smile. If the calculations you've created and communicated are done right, you'll have plenty of net profit to cover both the bonuses while you still enjoy a healthy business profit. Create the calculations well up front and then keep them consistent. This is especially true when it comes to any commission-based pay that you have. Changing the rules often creates a lack of trust. Lack of trust creates drama, and I've seen this in organizations where they keep changing the pay of their salespeople because they don't want them to make too much money. You really don't want that. Create a plan that ensures that the business makes money as your commission-based people make more money. Too often I've heard business owners or leaders say they don't want their sales force to make too much money. If the pay is proportioned correctly, you do want them to make a lot of money. Constantly changing the rules to finagle less pay, and you'll have lots of drama and salespeople walking out the door. Now, if your salespeople are making a lot of money, do make sure that you're doing something for the people who are supporting the salespeople. And again, I would use that as a bonus plan that's tied to overall net profit for the organization. But when your salespeople are working harder, a lot of time those administrative support people are working harder too. And don't just make that compensation be for those salespeople. That would cause drama. All right, number 4 strategy, calculate total compensation and communicate it. So like I've said, pay is an emotional thing, and employees feel valued or devalued based on the price tag you put on them through their pay. Do not underestimate the monetary value of your benefits or other perks. I've implemented total compensation calculations, and the results have always been good. The additional investments you make in your employees will raise those numbers. If you are in the U.S., don't forget the FICA calculations as well. So there are the things that you're required to pay. You might as well include those too, because those are a price that you're paying towards each employee. Include everything you possibly can. I mean, you're paying out money for those benefits, healthy money. So you might as well include it in their pay so they can visualize and understand and feel the value of that money that you're spending. The additional investments you make in your employees will raise those numbers. So include paid holiday, vacation, or sick time. Here's a way to do it. You can subtract those hours and then divide the salary by the hours actually worked. Now, this is going to be a little tough in a podcast, but let me explain. So, for example, a full-time employee works 2,080 hours per year at 40 hours a week times 52 weeks. Now, subtract out 2 weeks vacation and 7 holidays as a for instance. So 17 days times 8 hours equals 136 hours. The salary you are paying them, including their health insurance and all the other perks, add all that up, and now divide it by 1,944 hours instead of 2,080. So divide the annual salary plus benefits, perks, etc. to provide that new hourly rate calculation. Now, you don't want to totally get your salaried employees focused on hourly. You don't want them to have that hourly person mentality, but you just want to try to do some calculations that really help them visualize and see the value that you're adding with all of those. There's different ways to do it. And again, this is a podcast. It's hard to listen and visualize a lot of numbers, so I don't want to use a lot of different examples, but I wanted to throw that one out there so that you see that, there are ways to showcase the money, the value that you're adding, the investment that you're making in your employees with your the benefits that you're providing for them, okay? And any of the other perks, if you have car allowances or tuition reimbursement or anything, add it all in there. All right, so those are 4 quick strategies. So let me just recap. The first one is have a rhyme or a reason for how you pay people. Once you have that rhyme or reason, communicate. Get them out of the world of assumption. Let your employees know specifically what your pay philosophy is and how they compare. How do your pay plans compare to the external world? And how are you calculating individual employee pay? Number 3 is keep that pay consistent. If you keep changing the rules, people get frustrated and you're going to have people walking out the door. And number 4, calculate total compensation and communicate that as well. Make sure that they understand the value, the investment, the full investment that you're making in each employee each year through all that you do to help with their personal growth, their health, anything that you do. So those are the 4 quick strategies. I hope that they help and that you can decrease some drama around your pay. So if you need a comprehensive program to help you defeat drama in your organization, you've been listening to this podcast for a little while, why don't you consider joining the Defeat the Drama, Delight Your Customers, and Improve Your Bottom Line Bootcamp? It's a surefire 7-step system to get your team doing what you need, loving what they do, and directing focus where it should be. Doesn't that sound great? In this system that you'll have access to 24/7, you'll learn to gain clarity about what you sell, how it should feel for your customers, and why you do what you do. You'll generate actions aligned with your business objectives. You'll learn to empower your team to take targeted action with tenacity, and providing autonomy is way more than just saying, hey, go do. Trust me. You'll identify and remove barriers to team productivity, drive focused employee correction conversations, learn to hire well, and establish harmony and productivity. And like I said, all of these videos and action guides are available to you 24/7 as soon as you make the investment. So if you want to check it out, go to defeatthedrama.com/podcast discount. Yeah, did I mention there's a special discount just exclusively for my podcast listeners? So thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, make it a great day.